What's good with y'all? You know what it is. It's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son, coming back with another one. For the people out there, just following the Lord, trying to do their best. You gotta cooperate with the Lord, bruh. What do I mean? In this walk, it can be hard, right? Specifically when we going through, temptation, in our willful sin that we trying to get up out of, habits, addictions, trauma, and whatnot. A lot of this stuff stems from our childhood, the thing in our environment, the things we seen and how we were raised up. And at a point in time, it comes where you are responsible for your own sin, unfortunately responsible for breaking generational curses that was passed down to you. Now, I talked about victim mentality before in one of my videos, and it's something that a lot of people possess, right? They give too much power to the addiction, to the sin that they battle with, not understanding that Christ can heal you from all of that stuff. But at the same time, it comes effort that you have to put in personally. Now, a lot of people look at overcoming trauma, overcoming pain, overcoming willful sin as something that happens overnight. It happens overnight for no one, especially in this time frame we live in where it's so accessible to sin. It's so tempting. We live in one of the most tempting times out here. So I can see how a lot of people would think that it's impossible, but it's about how you approach it. You got to cooperate with the Lord, right? You got to start small. If whatever you struggling with, whatever you battling with, whether it's slander, gossip, alcoholism, being a respecter of persons, people pleaser, sex addiction, porn addiction, and so on and so forth, attention seeking, wanting validation, being addicted to that type of stuff, you have to start small. You don't have to quit social media and go cold turkey, but cooperating with the Lord would look like, okay, let me put this down for so much amount of time, right? You gotta give yourself benchmarks, right? I'm gonna tell a story. I was back in 2019. I picked up smoking weed, and I was smoking for about a year. It got to the point where I was smoking every single day, and multiple times a day, a lot of the time. So I had a time, and around that time frame, I started changing my life, loving myself a bit more. I was into spiritualism and all of this type of stuff, so I was meditating, doing all of this extra nonsensical stuff, but ultimately it was some good that came from that. I was eating healthier. I went vegetarian for 3 months, and after I had did all of that stuff, the weed didn't hit the same. So I was like, I'm gonna quit, right? And it started with going from smoking multiple times a day to every other day. And then I said, I'm gonna go 1 week, set a benchmark, went 1 week, and then it was starting to become 1 time a week. And then that led to 2 times a month, then 1 time a month. And then, eventually it was gone, right? And how I know I don't struggle with this particular thing anymore when you defeat it is because I had a period last year where I got back into smoking for about 2 months, and I quit again just easily. Like, it wasn't nothing. Like, it didn't have no power over me. It was really linked to a soul tie, but I was able to get back off of it, bruh. And we have to be able to, you have to just set small goals for yourself. A lot of people, they think too big. They think that, they gotta just go cold turkey a lot of the time. No, you just gotta cooperate with the Lord. Also, with whatever you struggling with, you gotta be sure to go to Him about it. You gotta pray about it. And a lot of people, they say, I pray, and I still struggle. Well, you have to understand the Lord has His timing as well. And as long as you continue fighting against that thing, the one thing I have felt in my battles with a lot of my temptation, the corn addiction, weed addiction, pointing me into, drinking a bit too much. The one thing I always thought to myself, even anytime I had fell short, was I'm never gonna stop fighting for the side of righteousness. Once Satan can snuff your light out and have you stop cooperating with the Lord, that's when the Lord can't work on you no more. But I always looked at it like I was like, I'm never gonna stop sliding for my Lord. I'm never gonna stop trying to do better. And eventually, I was quote unquote delivered from all of those things, right? Eventually all of those things faded and I was able to put those ways behind myself. But it started with me cooperating with the Lord, understanding, okay, I can't, if I say that I want to get rid of this, I can't be doing it every day then justifying why I'm doing it. I can't be booting up every single day on these sites and then be praying and crying about it like, please take away the sin. I'm not putting in no effort. And I recognize I've been like this with people, my way of viewing people and helping people has always been, I want to see if somebody gonna stand up on their own, right? If they knock down, are you gonna stand up on your own, or are you gonna expect the handout and still be doing what you're doing while you're on the ground while having your hand out, potentially pulling you down with them? When somebody starts to stand up on their own, I have mad respect for that, because it shows you're willing to take the first step. What would standing up on their own look like? Standing up on their own would look like coming to me or anybody saying, I have a problem, I need help. That's you taking the first steps. You standing up, you taking the first steps. All right, walk with me, right? So the Lord is the same way. He's not gonna force us to do anything. We have to cooperate. We have to take that, we have to stand up and take that first step and walking with him. And we stumble and whatnot, but we had to keep getting back up. And he gonna be there the whole time. With that being said, if you got anything from this video, hit the like, comment, subscribe button. We've been over here growing and whatnot. I'm recognizing some people in the comments, this frequent viewers. I appreciate y'all and whatnot. Tell y'all peoples about me. Show them these videos. We growing over here. We trying to push forward the word, and we all just trying to grow together, right? There's still a lot of growth I need to be doing. And I'm gonna have videos about energy transfer, growth, humbling ourselves and how not to get too high-minded in this faith, right? Because people come and see people come online and make these videos, and a lot of people will get preconceived notions like, oh, well, this person thinks they know everything and all of this type of stuff. And I think it's important. I also think it's important in the space of being creators and putting this content out to let the people know we not perfect neither. It's still a lot of stuff that we learn and deconstructing, reconstructing, building back up ourselves. It's just, for me, this channel is just a journey, and for the people that's gonna come with me on my journey and they want to be there and they want to tell me they tales and we can converse about that, that's gonna be dope and awesome, right? We need each other. With that being said, it's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son. I'm signing out.